Hey folks, I'm Aspen Arrow, and this is Planet Zoo. In this series, we will be building a small temperate zoo off a randomly generated prompt. I have chosen the Oceania sculpted map for this zoo. It is in Sandbox, and this is an organic build. I haven't done any planning, and so I will try to balance building and completing buildings and my time thinking in this recording. Our prompt is to build a small temperate zoo featuring platypus, saltwater crocodile, wild water buffalo, Bengal tiger, Aldabra, giant tortoise, exhibits of a Gila monster green iguana, and a Danube crested newt. To build a restaurant overlooking a gemsbok habitat and a red-crowned crane habitat with a building in it. My personal goals for this is to try to use a lot of pieces I don't use. If you're anything like me, you tend to pick 2 or 3 pieces and just keep using the same color palettes and pieces over and over again. So I am going to push myself to use new pieces and to be more colorful and acknowledge that there are more colors in the world than black, brown, gray, uh, all those muted, very quiet colors. So we're going to try and use orange and yellow and all of the brightness that we can. I also would like to try to build a transport ride. It's not something I do a lot in Planet Zoo, and I think it could be a fun experience to try and incorporate that into our build. With that, we will zoom in here, and I'm going to take a minute to get our paths built to a staff center that we'll build today. So I'll see you guys back in a minute. All right, I've got our basic path laid out. We have a nice little entryway that we'll go back and decorate in the future, as well as an area to put in our signage for our zoo, which we choose a name. I've used the rustic path with the curb pulled off. The staff path also has the curb pulled off, as I find the wood piece and the curb to be kind of fiddly to hide. So I've just gone to pulling the curbs off. So we'll go ahead and grab our facilities, grab our animal trade center. We'll put the keeper hut closer to the animals. We'll grab just the basic quarantine. I don't think I need the large one. I don't think we'll need a research center, but I'll grab one. Our staff room, which I think this will just become one building once we start building. Our veterinary surgery. And we don't need to do any mechanic research, so I'm going to leave the workshop off. Go ahead and get our path in for our staff center. I think we can actually move this piece up just a bit. Oops. All right, let's see if now our path will go in. Oh, I saw it there for a minute. There it is, and we've got it. All right. So let's go ahead and choose our walls for this build. And I have picked the Oceania, Indonesia, Australia, East Asia, and India, as this is where a lot of our animals are from. And these are also pieces I haven't used much of. So I am looking forward to trying some new design. I haven't got to use the Oceania pieces much, so let's try the bark wall. I think we can make that work, so let's go ahead and get the rest of our pieces in. And I'd like to make this sort of a walk-in area for the staff, so we're actually blocking off what the guests would see. So let's grab the arches. So we have our enclosed staff area here. And of course, it doesn't want to line up. I think that'll be okay. We can work with it. So that'll be our staff area. So I think I will go ahead and stick with a pretty basic roof line. I do see these very impressive curved pieces that I'd like to fiddle around with in the future, but I think for our staff area, we will just go with a pretty basic roof. So let's go ahead and grab our pieces, grab the grid ones just to make it a touch easier here. Give that one a bit of a taller look, and this one, I think I want to be a bit shorter, just because it'll be a bigger overall building. It can have a less dramatic roof. And find our 1 meter piece. It's interesting, you can change the distance to feet, but everything still remains in meters in the game itself. So slowly learning the meter system. All right, I think I'm happy with that roof line. So let's go grab our roof pieces. I do really like these tiled ones, and there is a colored one, but in my mind, having a tiled roof on where woven bark would just lead to collapse. So I do think we're going to go with a thatch roof. That looks like a really heavy thatch roof as well. So I think we may go ahead and use the Oceania matching thatch roof. I think that's the clay, yeah. I think that would just collapse our whole roof. So we need the 4. And for some reason, these don't snap, but that's all right. I think that'll look all right, and then we'll come back in and put windows and doors and some decoration as we go. So I'll go ahead and get the roofs in. All right, so as you can see, our roof piece changed as I discovered the Oceania thatch does not have a 1 meter piece. So we have now used, I think it's the palm thatch roof. And the interesting thing with that is, of course, then it started to poke through all the woven bark. So I've extended out the roof line here, and we've used the bamboo to sort of hide the little graphic issue there. You can see it just pokes through. So let's just go ahead and enhance that and use the bamboo as our decorative piece. I think it turned out nice and it fits the overall vibe. So the bamboo we will also use to frame out our windows and doors, I think, and I will also be doing a garden area here, so I'm debating if I want to use that as the curb, or I find that I generally like the, I think it's called a metal beam. Yes, this little metal beam piece makes a really nice curb, so I think we'll probably go ahead and stick with that to not get too much bamboo everywhere. And in the spirit of trying to keep some brighter colors, let's go ahead and get this recolored. Maybe go with the orange. Otherwise, I think it's going to match the bamboo too much. Yeah, I think I like the orange. So I'm going to come in here and actually just frame this out for our garden area. Path isn't quite straight, but that's okay. That's why we're going to hide it with this. Click the button too fast. And pull this all the way down as well. Looks like I need to move it out just a touch further. Mm, there we go. And grab all this. And pull that over to the other side. Oh, that path is really not straight. See if we can't hide how. There we go. And just a touch down. I think we're mostly hid. So my idea here is to have kind of a nice garden sitting area. I think I want to put a stone fountain in here as well. I thought that would be a nice little detail. So we'll go ahead and do some painting. I think I want to go with more of a sandy vibe. Go ahead and make that a touch smaller and roughen up some of our sand. And pull our intensity down. And go in and grab some nature. There we go. think we'll put the little stone fountain in that I have in my mind somewhere in the middle. So probably go ahead and edge with just some foliage. Maybe some poor grass trying to eke out a living here. See how that looks a little closer. I think that's nice. Try not to get too matching here. Restrain myself from using the Japanese maple. Just love the colors on that. Sort of fill in the gaps of the grass so it looks a little fuller. See if that looks. Yeah, I think that works. I like this piece. Make it a little more prominent back here. All right, I think that gives us a good basis of where our foliage will be and leaves us a nice little center area to build a rock fountain. So I think in the interest of the length of this video, we'll work on the fountain next time. I am thinking of using, just as a rough idea, there are these water shrines, so I think we'll work on using those along with our rocks to make our little fountain. So we'll finish that up next time. I will go ahead and finish framing out all of our edges with our curve piece, and I'm going to put the bamboo around the edges here so it looks more like a fence. So I'll bring you back when that's all done. I've finished framing out our bamboo pieces here. I think it gave it much more of a fence look rather than kind of a barren wall. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. And you can see inside we have added some framing pieces just to give it more of that fence vibe on a few of the walls. Also took the time to go ahead and edge our building here as it also had the same issue where the roof bamboo was poking through. So we have our bamboo there as well. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and you can see that we have finished the curbing for all the pathing. So all of our paths are curbed out, and we have all these little areas to decorate and mess with as we have time. And so today I will leave you here. Next time, I would like to go ahead and, as I said, make a stone fountain, finish decorating up the curved out areas, and go ahead and make some custom doors and windows. If you've stuck with me this far, I'd like to thank you and thank you for joining me for my first ever recording. I have no experience in recording and editing, so if there are audio or video issues, I will work to improve as I learn this. Again, thank you so much for joining, and I wish you a great day.